again, good morning, and welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where our mission is to inspire, teach, heal, share, and expand the experience of God's love through all creation. Our theme for the month has been the season of light. That was so wonderful, Fleet. This special light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm going to allow it to shine through the appearances that show up. I'm going to allow it to shine through the dis-ease that shows up. I'm going to allow this light to shine through any upset that arises. Because the truth is, they are only the light and the energy that is given unto them. It's a wonderful thing to be in a way of life that allows us to take responsibility, because the twin of responsibility is what? Isn't it freedom? The freedom to choose this day whom we will serve, life, truth, wisdom, beauty, understanding, compassion. So when we understand that deep, motivating energy of spirit, it moves us through these experiences. And we come out on the other side. So as this light within us shines, as we open to the light, as we let go and let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who heard the call this morning. We heard the call this morning. We answered that call. Now, Thomas Pruitt said, we have an opportunity. We take ourselves out of the law of averages and place ourselves within the law of individual selection. Individual selection, that means there are the laws of averages. There's a race-conscious belief in many things that don't serve us. And what that means is the humanity's race-conscious belief and an unconscious, it's really interesting how the collective unconscious has certain agreements. I remember that when many, many years ago, I was visiting someone and there was a commercial that came up and it was for orange juice. And the person that was projecting out about how we should, drink this orange juice said, have you had the flu yet? And the person I was visiting said, no, not yet. So what does that do? It creates a space for us in consciousness to move to a lower vibratory frequency, to that frequency of dis-ease, like we need some outer thing. Yes, it's wisdom. It's a spirit, mind, and body connection. And when I start to feel lower energy, or I can feel my energy moving downward, I stop and I go within and I tap into that universal energy and allow myself to know that if I am created in the image and likeness of God, and I'm told it's good, right? It's not only good, what is it? It's very good. This is what we are told. So if it is good and very good, energetically, then we are in the world to live, to love, to laugh, to express, to, have every emotion, on the planet, but of a higher vibratory frequency. So this season of love, this moment of love, today we're ending on the high note of love. And remember that love vibrates at the very highest frequency. And when David Hawking wrote the book about energy, and that the lowest form of energy that is calibrated is guilt and shame. And so the highest is, of course, not even unconditional love, because to say the word love already embodies unconditionality, right? Because love waits on welcome, not on time. Love moves beyond time and space. So our God and our way of life is a loving presence, is ever with us, goes before us, and prepares the way. And as we open to that, something begins to happen. Now, I wanted to share with you about Advent. And during the esoteric energy and the parlance of the esoteric teachings, and I love the esoteric teachings, it says the spiritualized process is accomplished largely by means of sound. Think about it. I'm going to repeat that. The spiritualizing process is accomplished largely by means of sound. And if we listen to inspiring music and inspiring, wonderful talks that energize us, and it resonates, what happens? Our energy moves to a higher level. The Christ himself, through his mighty intonation, gives the keynote of the great work. Consequently, our evolutionary life is attuned to Christ consciousness in the most intimate sense. In him we literally live and move and have our being. And there's an ancient legend, it's called the Lost Melody, and it is reminiscent of when the angels appeared to the shepherds, bringing great tidings of wonderful joy, that in the city of David on this day a child was born, and he is wonderful. And so, of course, the shepherds were in shock, but they followed the light. And when they followed the light energetically, where did they find themselves? At the foot of the manger. There lay the Christ child. In our sacred mythology, our heart is the doorway to the soul. The manger in which we are giving birth to a higher level of Christ consciousness. We are intoning. And as we tone this energy, we expand. Well, this ancient legend about the shepherds, they were trying to remember the melody that when the angels came to share these amazing tidings of great joy, and they could not remember the melody, and they went around the group, and suddenly they heard a little lamb bleating, and it was bleeding and bleeding, and they knew there was a little lamb lost. And they also knew it was nighttime. They're trying to remember this melody. And they also knew that there were craggy, rocks that were quite steep. There were even wolves. So they all kind of froze as they heard the bleating of this little lamb in trouble. And the youngest of the group, the youngest little shepherd, said, I'll go find the lamb. And when he returned, his feet were somewhat bleeding, and he was kind of, hanging onto the craggy cliffs, and he found that little lost lamb, and he said, a wonderful thing happened. As I scooped up the lamb in my arms, I heard a melody. And he began to sing the melody to his fellow shepherds, and they were in awe that this was the melody that they were trying to remember, that guided and directed them to the Christ child. Well, many years elapsed, of course, and that child in the manger grew to be a man and had a reputation of being a great prophet. And they had heard of a blind man at the gate who would sing this amazing melody. And he would tell stories, beautiful stories, about life and the opportunity to be kind, to do unto others. And so one of the disciples went to Jesus and said, there's a blind man at the gate singing this most amazing melody, sharing wonderful stories to the children. They're all gathered around him. Come, Master, please. Meet this wonderful wise man at the gate, singing this amazing melody. And so Jesus went, and of course he placed his fingers on the man's eyes. And the man looked up and said, I can see. I can see. Who are you? And he said, don't you remember when we met? And you were such a small child. And you scooped up the lamb in your arms, and you heard a melody. That melody was from me. You've kept it alive all these years. Through your infirmity, you've kept it alive. You've shared with the children. Unless you become as a little child, you shall not enter into the kingdom of God. You have kept the melody alive. Blessed are they who have ears that hear and eyes that have insight. And when we have insight, we keep the melody alive. This divine intonation that through the sound, the energy, that's why when our music director, the Reverend Prince Fleet Easton sings, we are uplifted because it moves beyond conscious thought, doesn't it? And that's why it's so important to have the things in our energy field that uplift, that forward and advance our consciousness. In fact, Mother Teresa said it so beautifully. And, she is the one that said peace begins with a smile. Because a smile moves beyond language, doesn't it? And she said, people are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you have anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it never was about them. It is between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. It was between you and God. Love anyway. No matter what is going on this last Sunday of the year, we have an opportunity to release. And I go through my own release processes when I think that I've healed myself of something and it bubbles up, from a dysfunctional family that we grew up in and major domestic violence. I think I've healed it and something will trigger me, and I go within and I release it again. And as things bubble up, they bubble up to be healed. We call on the angels, the archangels, and all enlightened beings to cleanse, purify, harmonize, balance, attune, and heighten the energy field. For eye hath not seen nor ear heard, neither hath entered into the heart of humanity the things which God hath prepared for them that love. We love anyway. With all the pandemic going on and all the dis-ease and the upset, at the center of the hurricane, there is peace and there is calm. We love anyway. We love ourselves through it. And remember, we cannot take things personally. It is not personal. When Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of life, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. It takes it out of the realm of personality and puts it in the realm of what? Vibrational frequency. We're not all a vibrational match. It's okay. We can wish each other well. We can agree to disagree. We can acknowledge and honor at a deep level who and what we are. So on this amazing last Sunday of the year, what are we intoning? What sounds are we entertaining in the energy field? And remember that your voice, this is the fifth chakra. It's the power center. That which we utter becomes the outer. Decree a thing and it is established unto thee. The lost melody. I'm going to intone that lost melody. I'm going to feel the energy of Christ consciousness. I'm going to know the truth that sets me free to be who and what I am, to be in the world, and yet of a higher spiritual vibratory frequency and operate from that octave. And when we don't, we just go within to the secret place of the Most High. We pray to our Father, Mother, God in secret, and we are acknowledged openly by the outward demonstrations of our lives. This has been an amazing time on the planet. Friday, I had special friends in, ministers mainly, as we sat around the table, and those that have ministries, and really talked about how grateful, all the things that we're grateful for. And there was a lot of joy. And remember that joy is the most infallible sign of the presence of God. That we started out, this whole month with the spirit of life, the spirit of joy, the spirit of peace, the spirit of love. Love being the strongest power on the universe. There is no difficulty that enough love will not conquer. No disease that enough love will not heal. No door that enough love will not open. No gulf that enough love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. No sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be the trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. Oh, if only you could love enough, you would be the strongest, most powerful being on the planet. Love anyway. And we make this declaration to ourselves on this last Sunday of the year, to see through the appearances, the effects, to take ourselves out of the law of averages and place ourselves within the law of individual selection, realizing that I do not have to go along with energy that I don't vibrate to, just to be accepted. If we accept ourselves, that's enough. We will attract others that accept us on that level. And not everyone is going to relate to us, and that's fine. Because we are in the world to make a difference, to see through the appearances, the conditions, and the effects. We are in the world to remember that melody, to go within, to sense that energy, to make that declaration. That which we utter becomes the outer. Decree a thing, and it is established unto us. We are charged with keeping our conversations in heaven. And as we keep our conversations in heaven, remember, that's the highest frequency we can vibrate to. So on this last Sunday of the year, I greet you, but not quite as the world greets you. I greet you with profound esteem and the acknowledgement of our oneness. I also call upon the angels, the archangels, and all enlightened beings to cleanse, purify, harmonize, balance, attune, and heighten the energy field, that mystical realm. And in religious science, the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, the revelations of religion. And in that revelation of religion, there is another dimension. And in that other dimension, there is the unseen world that is forever with us, saying, love anyway. And to remember that love is the strongest healing power in the universe. I was recently, I've been on so many Zoom presentations going all over the world, where I used to fly all over the world. Now I'm Zooming all over the world. And I had the opportunity to be with the Canadians, with our beautiful Lori Davis, who her topic that day was on suicide. Not a real happy thought during the holidays. However, you know that I have shared my sister took her own life. Others had husbands take their life. And, you know, we had a group, a panel, as it were, each sharing their story. And there was a young man on the show. And he said, well, I am one that attempted suicide. And as he said, everything was going wrong and I didn't feel loved, and I just felt that it would be better if I left the planet. So he parked his car near the bridge, and at that moment, a police officer saw him and he had a feeling, and he acted on the feeling, and he pulled his car over. And as the man jumped from the bridge, he caught the man from his leg and pulled him up to safety. Pulled him up to safety. And he said, in that moment, I knew that I was to be on the planet to make a difference, to live my life, no matter how I was feeling a minute before. When he caught me by the leg, by the limb, and pulled me to safety, I knew I was to be here. And he said, I began to love myself, to love others unconditionally, and to realize that I will never be all things to all people. And none of us will be. We will never be all things to all people. So as we realize we're doing the very best we can, and to know that there is an angel that may catch us from falling. And the realization to love anyway. And as we love anyway, who grows? The benevolence of Spirit is upon us. So I bless each and every one of you who are tuned in today. I acknowledge our divine appointment, and that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. I know we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because I am in a high place, and I will not come down. None of these outer things move me. I am in a high place, and I will not come down. I say namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. And the God in you salutes the God in me. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And with Tiny Tim, God bless us, everyone, on this last Sunday of the year, where we have recognized that no matter what is going on the planet, love anyway. And so it is. Thank you.